Hey guys, VIII here with another V-Plays, and we are hopping into another replay. This time we are going to be watching Commander Viper as he just picked up the BVP-203. He is a really big fan of this aircraft. In fact, he's one of my viewers that stated that he feels as though this is earning more credits than his XP-58. I would like to do some testing on my own. He does have some data to support this, but more testing on my own before I make a definitive statement on that. What is it? They have a nickname for this thing, and they call this thing the Party Crasher in the clan Ace, which he is a part of. And I think he's going to demonstrate why. Now, we've just done a video on the 203, so I'm really not going to go through all the little nitnoid details of this airframe, but just generally understand that this is going to be a beefed up version of an ME410, sporting a combination engine system here where it has two propellers, and then it also has a couple of jets in the back. So the thing technically has four engines running on this thing. He has made his way directly to the center of the garrison, and he is using that Heavy's big firepower capability to go after this TU-2 and secures the zone. He does immediately note, however, that there is a specialized P-1056 British Tier 8 Heavy up here that he needs to put an end to, so he manages to take out that threat, because it is always important to identify an enemy player, especially when they're specialized, because usually they know what they're doing in that airframe. He is now looking at the XP-75, another Heavy that he believes is going to be a threat to him. He does get a nicking blow here with the 30s. Trying to settle in, doesn't quite make it. It looks like a bot named Kendrick and the Tempest managed to pick up that kill. Now, this was brought up in the video I had when I was doing Press 2 for Skills Replay. Somebody accused the player that I was showcasing of using an aimbot. Just understand that the replay system for World of Warplanes is inherently flawed. The reticle and where the aircraft is actually pointing aren't accurately represented here, so it looks like he's firing shells off into the middle of nowhere but somehow making contact with a target. Just be aware that this is a glitch with the replay system. It is a huge flaw that most content creators have had a huge gripe with, because it makes it a little bit difficult to be able to highlight the capabilities of another player in a replay without having to first make an excuse as to why the shells are going everywhere. We see that specialist XP-58 was actually the same XP-50, or the same player that was in the 1056 earlier, so they must have thought switching up aircraft was going to maybe give them some better luck here. Which is fair, because the 1056 is kind of a jack of all trades, not really meant for dogfighting against another Heavy, while an XP-58 definitely has some maneuverability in spades compared to a 203. Looks like the 203 is now going to come down here and crash the party of this NC-1070. As you can see, the 30mm Mark 103s are making good contact at range, but as he settles in, the 15mm cannons are getting some good hits in. He lost his gunner, or his pilot I should say, so his accuracy goes right out the window. He is not running a medkit on this aircraft, he's running a fire extinguisher. I typically don't run fire extinguishers. I'm not too worried about my Heavies getting lit on fire, and any of my light fighters I just put on the firefighting skill. It opens up that slot so that way I can get that pilot or gunner back up and running as soon as possible, because the best defense is a strong offense. There we go. Now that he's got his pilot back up and running, you can see he made short work of that IL-8, the beefier of the Tier 7 ground attackers. The other option is actually an IL-10 that has a lot more maneuverability and speed, but sacrifices armor to get that extra little oomph. He's going back up after this TU-2. but he realizes he's getting a little bit low on speed, so he dips the nose to try and get a little bit of that back. Bearing in mind that this is one of the first games I think he said he played in this aircraft, seems to be doing pretty alright. He's isolating and destroying the really big threats, he's maintaining central position on the map, and he's keeping an eye out for when he needs to venture outside of that central zone. He's going up against this Focke-Wulf 190D, but again, his ally in the 109 TL manages to pick that up. Again, really good at intercepting bombers, just like our 410 at tier 6. Yep, managed to grab that kill, and now it looks like he is coming back around to continue to defend this garrison. The nice thing about going up against Shannon in this Tempest here is that the Tempest is actually up at an altitude which is a little bit high for that multi-roll, so it was pretty easy for him to be able to engage that aircraft. Another multi-roll looking like they might be a little caught out up here. Good hits on that XP-72, lit him on fire, which is awesome because a little bit of damage over time never hurt for the guy causing the damage, I should say. And now he's vectoring back around, and what do we have here? Another multi-roll. Looks like the 190 Delta is back. Is he going to get the kill this time? Yep, manages to pick up a grade 2, which is excellent. If I was to just gotten this aircraft, I'd be pretty happy with this plane at this point. And you can see he's really managing to be able to get those guns to make contact. Again, despite the replay glitch here. So, just picked up Hero of the Sky, got grade 1, that's awesome, and Guardian, but they are behind the zone right now, so I think he realizes that, but it's also just about Squall Line, and even though he might want to go help capture another zone, he doesn't want to put his back to this Tempest, because that could be a huge problem for him. So he's hoping somebody will come in here and give him a hand with it. As he vectors in for a stern conversion, he does have an ally and a light fighter. Get some good hits on him. He's not pot committed on the other aircraft though. You see that he's continuing to move on, and he's going after the 72. The damage he did to the Tempest allowed him to pick up Wing Legends, so already a fantastic battle. Anytime you get a Wing Legend, I consider that a win in my book, despite how the results of the game might play out. There we go, there's a TU2 again. Man, he is making this TU2's day a really tough one, because it looks like this is the third time I believe he's engaging him. Again, not pot committed. He sees that Focke-Wulf 190, throws a couple of rounds into him again. It's really important in a heavy fighter, especially one that relies heavily on speed, not to get overly committed to turning onto another target. That's more something left for your light fighters to stay locked in on a target. Again, like I said, that TU2, he's going to make short work of him. He's nice and close. He's got a lot of guns, being able to throw out a lot of hate right now. Just picked up the fighter badge, and now there's that JU288A. They are still ahead on points, and his teammates managed to pick up another zone. Now, I mentioned that it might have been a good idea for him to leave the zone, but staying here, it actually is a bit of a magnet for all of the enemy aircraft that were just respawning. McGuire medal, by the way. So they're all heading straight towards the nearest enemy-controlled zone. So by staying here, especially at Squall Line, he's actually knocking out a lot of enemy aircraft, so they won't be returning back to the battle. It's pretty much the end here. You see that there's the XP-58 yet again trying to come in here and cause some damage. But is he going to be able to get the kill? Nah, it never quite ends up that way, does it? There's always one target that seems to get away. But if this is one of his first battles, raking in 17,650 personal points, hats off to you, Commander Viper. It looks like you're having some really good luck with this aircraft, and hopefully you continue to get some really strong payouts. As I said, the BVP-203 isn't a bad plane. It's just not for everybody, and at the price point, it's not necessarily going to be my first pick for a premium aircraft for somebody who's just starting out in the game. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this recap of some viewer replay. Again, I am accepting replays. I'll put a link down in the description below for the email where I'm accepting these replays. Just bear in mind, we're going to continue to have this replay bug until Wargaming decides to try and fix that. Anyways, Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, I will catch you on the next one.
I'm marching till it's over. And just like a soldier,